Well, Pentecost literally means 50 days after Easter, and it celebrates the descent of the Holy Spirit on the apostles and other disciples following the crucifixion, resurrection, and ascension of Jesus Christ. Did you know the Jewish religion also has a Pentecost? It celebrates Pentecost or Shavuot, which means 50th, which refers to the Jewish festival of Shavuot, which is celebrated 50 days after Passover. The festival is also known as the Feast of Weeks and the Feast of 50 Days in rabbinic tradition. Shavuot is defined by my Jewish Learning website as a combination of two major religious observances: the giving of the Torah and the grain harvest of the early summer. The giving of the Torah on Mount Sinai 7 weeks after the Exodus from Egypt. The first ritual, the harvest, was where Israelite males were commanded to come before God bringing offerings of their first fruits of the harvest. The second one determines the significance of the holiday for Judaism, tying it in with the seminal event of Jewish religious memory, namely the entering into a covenant between God and Israel. Just a little further facts of tradition within our Old and New Testament. Now, let us hear the reading of not the gospel, of the epistle, book of Acts, chapter 2, verses 1 through 21. And this is taken from the Message translation. When the Feast of Pentecost came, they were all together in one place. Without warning, there was a sound like a strong wind, gale force. No one could tell where it came from. It filled the whole building. Then, like a wildfire, the Holy Spirit spread through their ranks, and they started speaking in a number of different languages as the Spirit prompted them. There were many Jews staying in Jerusalem just then, devout pilgrims from all over the world. When they heard the sound, they came on the run. Then, when they heard, one after another, their own mother tongues being spoken, they were blown away. They couldn't, for the life of them, figure out what was going on. And they kept saying, "Aren't these all Galileans? How come we're hearing them talk in our various mother tongues?" Parthians, Medes, Elamites, visitors from Mesopotamia, Judea, and Cappadocia, Pontus, and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, Egypt, and the parts of Libya belonging to the Cyrene, immigrants from Rome, both Jews and proselytes, even Cretans and Arabs. They're speaking our languages, describing God's mighty works. Their heads were spinning. They couldn't make head or tail of any of it. They talked back and forth, confused. What's going on here? Others joked, they're drunk on cheap wine. That's when Peter stood up and, backed by the other 11, spoke out with bold urgency. Fellow Jews, all of you who are visiting Jerusalem, listen carefully and get this story straight. These people aren't drunk, as some of you suspect. They haven't had time to get drunk. It's only 9 o'clock in the morning. This is what the prophet Joel announced would happen. Remember, in the last days, God says, I will pour out my spirit on every kind of people. Your sons will prophesy, also your daughters. Your young men will see visions, your old men dream dreams. When the time comes, I'll pour out my spirit on those who serve me, men and women both, and they'll prophesy. I'll set wonders in the sky above the signs on the earth below, blood and fire and billowing smoke, the sun turning black and the moon blood red. Before the day of the Lord arrives, the day tremendous and marvelous. And whoever calls out for help to me, God, will be saved. Thus ends the reading. So what is the Holy Spirit? What's your experience with the Holy Spirit? This time of year is always filled with the ending of something and the beginning of something else. Many churches across denominations have seen this as a time also to look at endings and beginnings. Endings of programs, beginnings of new ones for a lighter summer. It's also a time where school children end 1 year of classes and begin looking forward to moving on to the next year after a fun summer break, of course. High school seniors prepare to graduate at the commencement ceremony, which really stands for the ending of one phase of life and the beginning of a new phase. College seniors graduating, finding a job and moving on to a whole new life journey. The dead of winter ends, springing forth to the new life of spring and summer. Our gospel reading today, if we would have read the gospel, is still in the midst of the farewell discourse. It talks of the ending of one kind of relationship and the beginning of another. Jesus tells the disciples something new is coming. Until now, Jesus has been their teacher, their leader, their healer. Now his closest friends, his closest followers, the ones he has been preparing to take over his ministry, hear Jesus tell them he is about to leave them. I wonder if they felt like Jesus was abandoning them. But Jesus tells them very clearly, this must happen, for then I can send to you a paraclete, also known as an advocate. Yet in this section of John, a paraclete is much more than an advocate. A paraclete has multiple roles, essentially covering the roles of Jesus that Jesus was to the disciples for the past 3 years. A comforter, a guide, a teacher, and a companion to them, to name a few. Now, after he's gone, someone who was like him would come to be with them. Jesus was letting them know, though I will be gone, you won't be without me. The Holy Spirit will continue the journey with you, each step of the way. Did Jesus maybe perceive his role to be like the paraclete? From the time he called the disciples to come on this journey with him, this would have given the disciples some experience of what it felt like to be a paraclete with them. It would have also prepared them now for the paraclete to come, to continue to be with them in his absence. But today, we too have the paraclete or the advocate with us. The Holy Spirit is with you and I, each and every moment of every day. Whether we realize it or not, accept it or not. Just as God or Jesus never abandons us, nor leaves us alone on our journey of life, the Holy Spirit never abandons us. Yet, we're human, aren't we? You and I, and we frequently don't feel God's or Jesus or the Holy Spirit's presence walking with us all the time. Instead, we tend to just continue plodding along day in and day out, keeping the status quo of life going just like it always did. Or to put it another way, we hold on to the memories of what used to be. After all, over the years, the memories of what was, of the way things used to be, they got us through, didn't they? Many churches across denominations live in those memories, the memories of what used to be, when they were a vibrant congregation, filled the sanctuary, had lots of children and youth, young couples and old. We too feel that many times, don't we? What happened? Where did they all go? Why are they gone? Well, we know many of the reasons, but not all. We know many died. Many got too old to continue to come and couldn't come. Many had illnesses that prevented them from coming. And still others just stopped coming, didn't they? People often say, I wonder how much longer we can keep this church going. We're all getting older, some more than others. The younger folks don't come. We lost our younger folks and their families. As they've said this, they've also said, we used to be a large congregation. The sanctuary was filled, lots of children, youth, and families. Many churches continue to live in a life of has-beens, of wish. I wish it was like it used to be. And there they stay stuck. They don't grow. They don't have a vision. They come to church meetings and often offer their and other fundraisers and never talk about a vision going forward. It's like they even forget they have a vision or a mission statement. What about this congregation? What is your mission statement? When's the last time you looked at it? Is it posted anywhere in our church building? When's the last time we've used it in worship? Let's bring it out of hiding. Let's not hide it under the bushel of the past. Not think, yes, we have one. It's filed away in our church council minutes. And then forget about how it is to lead us through until the new mission statement is needed. Looking ahead, this Pentecost Sunday, I challenge this congregation to ask these and many more hard questions, ones you really know the answers to, and ones you need to talk openly and honestly about together amongst yourselves and with others who aren't around anymore. I challenge you maybe to contact those who haven't been back in weeks, months, or years. Maybe to call them and invite them to breakfast or lunch or dinner with you, to see how they are doing, to share how much you miss them. Or if you can't get out, if they can't get out on their own, to ask if you could bring a meal to them and share it together while sharing your missed friendship. To invite them to come together in love and share about what gave them life here and what not so much. About their experience as members of this congregation. I challenge you to really search deep down inside as members of this community of faith. What is your vision for the next 5, 10 years going forward? You see, it takes intentional commitment to develop a plan for going forward, for the future. Yes, McGuanago UCC has some plans. They've got some plans to use the building more efficiently by renting it out and fixing it up to draw others in for other reasons, for groups to meet here and things of that nature. Well, what is our mission for this church, for this faith body going forward? Is it a mission and a vision to lead us a step closer to the future and what the future might be? Maybe we still need a mission statement beyond ourselves. This morning, I'm here to share with you and to pray you reach out to all members, past and present, not just about the celebration in September, but about those friendships lost and about those faith journeys together lost. You all have folks not here who you were friends with and miss being together with. Be persistent to come together and begin talking and really listening with an open mind. Then come back here together and share some of those things you've all learned while sharing with your friends. And see where our listening leads us on our mission together as a community of faith. To listen and hold on to this is how it has to be, the old way, when folks used to come, will kill any church going forward. Today, Jesus prepares the disciples to be the leaders of the new church, to go out into the community and spread the word, to teach and preach and guide the church going forward. Today, Jesus leaves with us the advocate, the Holy Spirit, to walk with us, to help us if only we will do the hard work of gathering and sharing. The Spirit is with us, guiding us. Will you take on the challenge and let the Spirit guide you, hold you, be with you each step of the way? If you do this, I believe you will experience new life in this congregation. You'll have a new sense of the faith mission of this congregation and how maybe we can go about reaching others. It might not be the way you'd like to see it, you know, the sanctuary filled. Then again, it might. If you do this, you will experience, as the song says, there's a sweet, sweet spirit in this place. The future's new. Jump right in.